A woman should be who and what she wants. We support the multifaceted woman. The woman embracing many titles, undertaking different ventures, and building generational wealth. You are a Jackie of all trades, master of your empire. Enterprise Empress, you are an unstoppable force.
Hey everybody, we're back for today's Jackie Show. I am one of your co-hosts, Sharon.
I'm Natalie. Hey everybody.
Neidy.
And Neidy is our Guard Your Genius expert, where she makes sure we're guarding our brand.
Right.
You guys love Lady so much. We stopped bringing her in at the end, and now she is
I
a
love
co-host.
I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
I was like, Neidy, they love the hair. They want to see the hair the whole show.
I should have known. Okay, got it. Noted.
Well, if this is your first time on the show, we call it Today's Jackie because we interview women who are a Jackie of all trades, master of her empire. Natalie, these are women who are
embracing many titles, taking on different ventures, and most importantly, building generational wealth.
You got it, that moolah money.
Yes, ma'am.
We call them our Today's Jackie, and this show is by your Enterprise Empresses. Mm-hmm. So we want to welcome our guest today, Natalie.
Yeah, so we have a special guest. Like we say, we have special guests, and all our guests are special.
They are.
But like today, we have like a for real special guest.
Like VIP type.
Like
Whoa.
We wouldn't be here. Type
so
special.
Literally, though.
Like literally, we wouldn't be a thing because Sharon wouldn't be here without our guest. So our guest today is Sharon E Coleman.
Yes, welcome. I'm glad to be here.
We are happy to have you. Thank you for joining us.
So to make it clear, y'all, this is my mama. So she is Sharon E Coleman, and I'm Sharon E A. Why is that, Mom? Did you just run out of names after the fourth child?
No, I did not.
Coming up with names.
I did not. Actually, your oldest sister's godfather said, why don't you name her Sharon? Because we had named Tony after your dad. But then I wanted to add people that were important to me. So my mom's name is Elizabeth, right, and my grandmother's name is Ann. So we named you Sharon Elizabeth Ann. You represent three strong, beautiful Black women.
Yes. What a beautiful way to just go into our conversation.
Yes.
I actually really love my name.
Yeah.
She's right. My mom is Sharon. My grandmother, her name was Elizabeth Taylor. So you know she was like the queen, right?
Diva. The Black diva.
Black diva. And then my great-grandmother, Ann. But what I love also, I don't know if you intentionally did this, but all three names are biblical names. And so the Rose of Sharon, Elizabeth and Anne, and they are promises of God and beauty in the Bible. So
you.
I received that, Neidy.
I love that. I love that story behind your name, though.
Thank you.
It brings all of you together.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, actually, they were very strong.
Yeah, exactly.
As you're naming children for people who are coming up, women who are coming up and having children, the importance of a name and the meaning behind it, because that's what you call your kids,
right?
You know, so whatever
you're calling
you're reinforcing whatever that thing is. So if you can name your child,
right, fill in the blank.
Something important, right?
Yes,
you know, it's funny because I looked up my name because I had heard this motivational speaker talk about N-A-Me. So if you spell out name, it's N-A-M-E. So your name represents N-A-Me. What's in me? Your name represents it. So be careful what you name your kids because it's N-A-Me. They make representation of what you label them. That's why it's so much power in words.
Wow.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I mean, we're jumping like deep into the show.
That's how we, right? So every show, right? I sit here with the list of questions because we always have the best intentions to be organized, right? We all have the questions, but we barely look at this. So that's what I love about this show. It's just a conversation.
It is. Normally, Natalie starts off with
your titles. So we can do that. So we do have some consistency. So what are some of your titles?
I'm a mom. I'm a retiree.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Congratulations.
Mhm.
Congratulations.
I'm a grandmother. I'm a great grandmother.
Oh,
Yeah, I have 9 grandchildren and 1 great grandchild.
That's amazing.
that is amazing.
And my great grandchild is the same age as one of my grandchildren. They're both the same age.
Together.
So my grandchildren range from 28, 29 down to 3, down to 3. Yeah, down
How
to 3.
blessed are they?
Because
Wow.
Christian is 3.
Oh, yeah.
Christian is 3.
Wow.
That's wonderful.
Now, look, you know
That's
that grandparents do this. So we have to tell her and you grandparents out there, this show cannot be about the grandkids today. This show is not about talking about the grandkids.
I can
This
talk about
show-
the grandkids forever.
Right. This show is about senior boss ladies,
Right.
life after retirement.
Mhm.
So what people don't know is that you retired when?
I retired a year ago, last year on July 31st.
Mhm.
And I have been working. You know, my father made this statement, not to reverse. My father made the statement, don't rush to start working. Don't rush to start working because you'll be working the rest of your life. And so I really feel like that I've done that. I've worked and worked and worked, and I worked 2 jobs and I've worked 3 jobs. And when I retired, it was time for me.
That's good.
Except she
You
decided to
deserve it.
work
To
with
work.
Natalie and I.
That's
right.
That's what I was gonna
In
say.
a
People
different
don't know
role.
that she actually works.
Right. She's a part of our team.
Right, of our team. She works.
But see, I don't
company.
consider that working though.
Oh,
Because you love
really?
it.
No, I don't. It's because I'm helping my children progress and move forward and reach their goals and their dreams. So I don't really look at it as working. I look at it as helping. That's why you have to keep telling me, Mom, we need to pay you, not just volunteer all the time.
But when you put it that way, maybe we could take off the payroll and save some money.
No, I love just helping, and it's a way of helping us, seeing y'all progress, seeing my daughter in Atlanta progress when I go there and can help her with the children so they can do their thing, and seeing or encouraging Casey to do her thing, and in Tony when I go to
These are her kids and her
Virginia,
grandkids, you guys.
and I can be there and help them with that, and so this is fun for me,
Right.
That's awesome.
So
especially because I can do it on
It
my own
seems
time.
like from all of your titles, mother must be your favorite.
It is.
Right.
Is
It's
it
my, I
mother or
don't know if it's my
grandmother?
favorite. It's
And
my
grandmother.
and grandmother. It's
Mhm.
I think being a mother and a grandmother was my most important title.
Yeah.
I think that's
do you guys feel like
Because-
that? Your favorite title is mother?
I do, especially when I had a daughter. So I have 2
Mhm.
boys and a girl. That's why part of the reason why I'm so excited to talk to you, because as a girl mom, like I always wonder, like it's a different dynamic, and I want a
Totally.
Sharon of my own. I want to raise a
Aw.
beautiful,
I'll be your
confident.
daughter. Can I borrow some money?
How do you do that? So I'm here for all the nuggets.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I did anything special. I just love them,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm thankful for God
Mhm.
to bless me with 4 beautiful children,
Mm-hmm.
and they all have their own motivation. They all have their own personalities. They all bring a lot to the table, and I love that. So I encourage it, whatever I can do to encourage it. They all have special gifts. They all have special anointings and blessings, and I always want to see that. I pray constantly for them to manifest that anointing in their lives.
How
So-
did you navigate that when they were little? Or growing up, not even just when they were little, but even into the teenage years, because you have so many different things happening with so many diverse interests. So how did you navigate that?
I stay very active in my kids' life, and I also encourage them to. I wanted my kids to bring their friends home, because then I got to know who they hung with, who they were around,
Yeah.
what those people, that the young people they hung with, what their mindset was,
Mhm.
their parents and stuff. And I that was important to me, to be there and watch them grow, but then give them space to be themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes we butted heads, especially with this one, because she was hard
Is
headed.
she the youngest?
Yes,
I
she is
am.
the youngest, and
I can
she's the
see
most
it.
strong-willed of all of them.
You want one of me, remember?
I
The
do
last
want
time-
one of
It's
you. I do.
necessary. I feel like to be the youngest, you have to be strong-willed.
Yeah.
But you're not the youngest. You're not the only girl, are you?
No, I was just thinking about that with you guys. So Natalie has one boy.
Mhm.
She has one boy. You have one girl. You guys have
Mhm.
all
flip.
in one. The
Yeah.
flip.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so
Yeah.
you have
Yeah.
2 boys and 1 girl.
Right.
She has 3 girls and 1 boy. She has 2 girls and 1 boy.
Yeah, she's the baby girl, but
I'm the baby, period.
yeah, she's the baby period.
She's a baby. Period.
She's a baby
Yeah.
period. Because Cherie is the oldest. And there's how many years difference between you and Cherie?
So between each of my siblings, we all have 2 years apart.
Except for
Except for Cherie and Chanel, they
Yeah.
have 4 years. So
3
if you
years.
do 3 years apart.
Mhm.
right.
So that means 2, 4 plus 3, 7 years for me and my oldest sister.
Okay.
But look, we cannot make this a show
You're
about
right.
moms, right?
It's
They're gonna be like,
beyond
that
that.
is not what you guys told us. So I did want to ask the question based on what Neidy was saying and you were saying. This show was about women who, wear many titles.
Mhm.
And today's day and age is all about balance. And we feel like it's so much now. It's social media, it's work, it's home, it's this, it's that, it's this, it's that. But when you guys, it's okay. I told you, it's just an open show. We get it.
It's fun.
We're learning together. When you guys were younger, you did everything. Like, you guys didn't complain about having to balance or whine about having to get up and cook and work
Didn't
and
have
do this
time
and
to
this.
do that.
You didn't have time to complain.
To complain. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I would say I'd have a nervous breakdown if I could fit it into my schedule, but I can't fit it into my schedule because I got to go pick up Sharon from cheerleading practice. I got to make sure Tony's at football practice. I got to take care of Chanel. She's had this college. I got to take care of Tony. He's had it to college. So you don't have time to. You just do what you got to do. You don't. You don't. I don't know.
But do you feel like that's why a lot of the people in today's day and age have mental health issues, are challenged with mental health, because you don't take the time? Like, you hear now, we speak a lot about taking the time for yourself, balancing it out. It's just like the airplane mode. Put your mask on first before you put on your
Mhm.
kid's
Right.
mask.
Right.
So do you feel like that's different from what you guys did? Or do you feel like it has evolved and you...
I don't know. I think sometimes mental illness is also because you have too much time on your hands. I think when you're super busy and you're constantly doing, I don't know. I can't say that.
It's kind of like an idle mind is a devil's
Right.
playground.
I
Sometimes,
can't-
like you
I
finding
don't
your
know.
passion.
I can't say that either. I think that it's just a different world now.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have the social media. We didn't have wherever you went, your telephone was with you.
Everywhere you go.
Constant
Right.
comparison
Right.
to what
So-
people have.
You were able to focus on whatever you were doing. Okay, it amazes me now when I go to a restaurant and I see a family and everybody's on their phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
So nobody's talking to each
Nobody's
other.
talking.
And I remember, and I don't know if you remember, we had dinners where we had dinners in the afternoon, at night, where we asked you what you did in the
Mhm.
daytime. Enjoy, we
Yeah.
talked as a family, and I think that's very important.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are
even
are
more
lonely.
important than the food you eat. It doesn't necessarily
Right.
mean you have to have
Yeah.
a full course, meal. You could be eating pizza, but
Mhm.
y'all still were communicating. Everybody wasn't on their phone.
Right.
You were enjoying each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that helps you be more patient and more loving, and more close knit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Build a relationship.
that when we had the co-owner of Womanish on here, and one of the exhibits we talked about was the vanish, and they talked about being invisible even when you're physically there.
Right.
And so that's what I
love that.
heard when you said that, because a lot of times, because we don't communicate, because we don't take the time to eat together, because we don't slow down our schedules, sometimes we are there, but someone isn't seen.
Right.
And so
Right.
since this show is about life after retirement, is that how a lot of seniors and retired boss ladies feel? Do you feel like sometimes now
it
you're not
is.
seen because you're older?
You're not seen. Also, with the change in social media and all this stuff, you feel like you're not up to par. I think for me, just simply knowing how to use my phone can be challenging sometimes. And this, come on, a phone shouldn't.
Oh, me
You
too.
know,
Though I struggle.
I budget. I budget
not
a
limited to
$3.5 million budget. You know, I took care, and I can't even figure out how to use a phone. You know, seriously, you know, you make different things. So it's just like, and then you get on media. You got, what's the name of your different things you got? Oh, I think it's Facebook. What else you do?
Oh, the
Instagram.
Instagram.
Yeah, that's just too much. If by the time I go through my Instagram account, then I go on my Facebook account, then I go on my text emails and my texts.
When you list it
then
like that.
by that time, what have I done? I done wasted the whole day. You know.
So that's a nugget, right? At least for me, because everything that you just said, I do. But I never realized when you listed it, I'm like, that's a lot of time, like email, and then jumping around from all the social medias that you have. Like, how much time went into that? Yeah.
It does. It takes a lot of time. And when Sharon gets on me, because she'll say, Mom, have you looked at your emails? You looked, and then I'll mix up emails with text messages. And Mom, you're talking about the text messages. I mean, I'm talking about your emails. But if I woke up and the first thing I did was pick up my phone and start looking at my emails and my text messages, and then I jumped on Facebook to see what I could do about what's going on. Because the only reason I really got Facebook is to keep up with my grandkids. So, you know, and play games, you know, and then I get frustrated. So I said, forget this. I'll just play a game or two. Now I look up and, okay,
it's gone.
Now it's noon.
Right.
I still haven't got up and done what I need to get done.
Right.
You know?
So that challenge is intergenerational then.
Yeah.
That's not limited to the challenge of being inundated with things on your phone, with having all that access. It's not for the kids only, because we talk about that with our kids, or I do anyway, with our kids, with ourselves, we have that challenge. And then also with you. So we all are struggling with that same thing.
But even in the workforce, when you just said that, because you work with us and with other younger ladies, I think you are the wisest one of the team. And when you just said that, I thought about a normal day. We have to check our emails, and then we're communicating with each other via text. And then we check our IG, our social media, our WhatsApp, and our Slack. And
when you say email, you're not talking about the fact that you probably have multiple emails.
Right. And we have different emails.
You
have your personal
your work email.
Right.
Right.
And now I'm real confused with all the emails, because I got y'all's emails, I got Timmy's emails, I got my emails.
Right.
Like, what emails am I supposed to be looking at? You know?
Right. And that could be challenging, because our company assigns account managers to our clients. And so what she's saying is, if she's assigned to one of our clients, is Debbie a Dream. So you're trying to check their email, but then you're trying to check your actual email with us, your work email. And then you have your personal email, because you still have your family and your kids and your grandkids. And then we're communicating with WhatsApp. And then you have to tell what you did at the end of the day, since we work remotely via Basecamp, and you Slack, and then we're communicating via WAC.
Sometimes I need a nap too.
So how is that after retiring? So when you went into the workforce, they trained you. You specified in one area or job, right? And then you kind of you were kind of taught to kind of grow with that company and kind of move towards retirement. Is that how it was?
Yeah, I mean, I had a specific job to do. I had certain responsibilities. I knew what my priorities were, which was the most important ones to get occupied, to get taken care of within a day. But you know as well as I do, I worked way past my 7.5 hours or 8 hours, because my work ethic is to get what I need to get done. So I found myself staying there many hours after work, which, if I had to do over, I probably would have curtailed so much of that. But all my kids were grown and gone, so it was easier for me to do that. And now I have another challenge, but I want to relax also, because I feel like I've done my duty.
For sure.
Right.
What's your other challenge? Just about to say you have another challenge. What's that? So before you can work till you get it done. Now we're the opposite, right? Like,
no, I actually feel like I have to do the same thing, but I don't want to
go back into
that same routine, because y'all don't have that type of routine, and I don't want to encourage y'all to have that type of routine,
right?
Because I think you can work too much, you can be a workaholic, and I think at some point I did turn into a workaholic.
Right.
I think
balance is important.
Right, and balance is very important.
So what I love is that it seems like you're trying to model being mindful about the way that we work.
Right.
Right? Because we can get caught up in living to work.
Right.
But I
Yeah.
also understand, and this is no pun, but sometimes when I work with Sharon, and you come in and you say, we're going to work, and Sharon's like, well, let me do this on my phone. And so she's doing this and doing all her work and stuff on her phone. And that's, I guess, when I have that moment of feeling invisible, because then I feel like, well, maybe I should get my phone and try to do something. Well, I'm gonna play a game because that's all I'm gonna do, But that's when you start feeling like, at my age, that God, our work never just centered around our phone or our laptop or our iPad.
The way we work is a lot different
It's
because you all
totally
were a lot
different.
more centralized.
I was in my office
And
worked out of
technology
my
has
office.
just
Expanded.
revolutionized
Right.
the
So
way
much,
that
and
we
it's
work.
so
Right.
confusing. It is,
Yeah.
just
That's
simple stuff,
But we do it to be more efficient so that we can turn what you did. You worked 12 hours in a day. We turn it into a 4-hour work day. And so instead of me having to feel like I have to drive to the office, I have to sit at this desk, I have to do all of this and then drive home just to get a few things done, I'm like, oh, I can figure this out real quick. And I did all this on my phone real quick. And I didn't have to drive to the office. I didn't have to pull out a whole desktop.
It has its advantage.
That was also
Right.
the
It's a
blessing.
blessing.
Yeah.
But it's
There are pros and
intimidating for
cons
those
on both
who
sides.
haven't learned it. Right.
Yeah, it's a blessing, and I see where technology has changed and the world is revolving in such a way. Just to be able to communicate with my grandkids on Facebook, or FaceTime. I'm sorry, on FaceTime is nice. I can see them. They can dance for me. They can sing for me. They can do gymnastics. The other day, my granddaughter showed me what she's learning in gymnastics. They even showed me how she's practicing basketball.
Yeah,
So,
you can be in places that you're
right
not physically
without being
there.
there.
But
So being that we know these things, what would you want retirees to know, being that you've already are working in this transitional workforce? You're working with
remotely.
Right, remotely, and you're working with an intergenerational team. I think our youngest person is
24.
24, and then you're, I don't know if we're allowed to ask your
you
age.
can ask me, I'm 68. Am I 68?
68. 68, right.
I got to think about it. I always want to say 68, 69, somewhere around there.
So 2 questions. One, how does someone adapt to that wide, from a learning like a 28-year-old to a 68? How do you as an employee or a team member adjust and adapt? And then my second question is, how can business women support their teams that are so wide in age like that?
I think the easiest thing for me to adapt was having young people in my life, being actively involved in the young people in my life. Not just my children, but their friends, I feel like I'm the mother to everybody. If you want to come talk to me, I'm right there for you. You need help, I'm right there to help you. So I think that had a lot to do with it, to stay actively involved in not overly involved in your children's life, but to stay attuned,
around young people.
Right, stay attuned to what's going on with young people and your children, and try to pick up on some of those things. I think that helped ease me a lot. Doesn't help with the little details, but it has eased me as far as understanding this is where our society is going. So if I'm going to do something, I might as well do that,
And you know what, Neidy, she asked us for help, because sometimes you're like, well, I called, because we talked about the oldest is 68, the youngest is 28. 24. So our youngest is 24, our youngest is Naya. So sometimes you'll say, I called Naya and she walked me through how to do this. And I talked to Tanisha and she showed me how to set this up. And I called Natalie. So one of the things I see that helps you adapt is that you ask for help from young people. You're not intimidated or afraid by it. You embrace it.
But now be careful, because a lot of times when you ask for young, you got to, the flip side is that young people need to be patient too with
so that's
people.
the way that businesses can support.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Is being patient and educating. I did, like when I worked my job, I did a little bit with Excel just to be dangerous. Now I need to know it. Okay. So now it's like, oh my God, it's so intimidating.
That's another one that gets me too, though.
Right.
So
So,
that's not about age.
so I don't feel bad. Thank you.
Sales and formulas, no.
Oh my God. I was like,
Can do it.
and then you got what did you say y'all have on Excel when we do the thing? Now you got to
The pivot.
Oh, the
pivot. I'm
Yeah.
like, what the heck is a pivot?
I don't know what that is.
I know you put things in line and like this. Okay,
Yeah.
so now I got to do a pivot to put them where they're supposed to be at.
So we need
So,
to be more patient.
be more
with
patient,
with
and also
our retirees.
take the opportunity to take some classes. I'm going to take a Excel class. I promise you, I'm taking the Excel class because I'm going to learn this. It is not going to get me. I'm going to learn it.
So I love that attitude, though,
Mhm.
that, you know, you continue to, there's
Push.
always something to learn. You
Yes.
never stop learning.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I learn from my grandchildren.
Right.
Casey teaches me a lot. She knows how to do a computer better than probably all three. And she's
It's
9.
true.
Okay,
But
I
that's
believe it.
important because
That's true, though.
some seniors don't feel like they can be taught. They feel like, I got this little baby, this child, you weren't even born when I started the workforce,
Right.
and you trying to tell me what to do. But you're saying the opposite. You're saying embrace that. Let them teach you, but you're saying also for us to be respectful and
And
patient.
patient.
Right.
Right.
yeah.
I
And
understand.
it's, to me, I think when we retire, it's a lot easier than when you're inside the workforce. So much on a day on 24/7 basis. Before I retired, is because sometimes we get intimidated when we were older because a young person comes in and starts telling us what to do, and I know what, I've been doing this job for 20 years. Now you're gonna come in
The
and tell me how to,
territorial.
right?
Mhm.
But now that I'm
mentality.
retired, I don't have that
Right.
You don't feel it's
territorial,
territorial. 'Cause
right?
it's not your bread and butter. It's
It's
not like you're
not,
gonna lose your
yeah.
job.
And that's why I say I look at working with y'all as not working, because I'm just there to help support y'all, to move y'all on there. And that, if I keep that mindset, then it keeps me from getting territorial.
And you
That's
said something
good.
I wanted to ask.
That's
How
good.
important is it for retirees to volunteer with
Very
small to medium businesses? Because she
help.
said to help. Because
Mhm.
you said you actually do this to help us grow. So at the
Right.
foundational
It's very
stage.
important. It's
Yeah.
very important. I think we should always, I've always had that mindset to help someone, to bring
Mhm.
someone up. Because if we're all bringing each other up, then we can all benefit from
Right.
it.
Right.
Our kids can benefit it. Our grandkids can benefit it. So
Yeah.
I think it's very important that we bring someone up, that we encourage, that we volunteer,
Mentor,
even
volunteer.
show where
yeah.
your strengths is. For me, I like to do legwork. I like to, so that's
She likes to
easy for
run
me.
errands,
I love
baby.
to run
Yeah.
errands.
She's-
I love driving.
She's Natalie's run girl. She'll drive and
I
run
love
around all day.
driving.
But it
Yeah.
brings also, for our team, I would say it brings a certain balance and wisdom to the team that we wouldn't necessarily otherwise have.
And you can't pay for that.
And you cannot pay for that.
Right. So
And
when
the
you guys are doing
experience.
something, you have her eyes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just like, it's not that important. It's
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah.
It's gonna get done.
Sometimes we do. We get
It's
intense
okay.
about stuff.
Right.
And she's
And
just
cater
like,
to what matters.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
yes.
Oh,
that is true. Sometimes we get so intense and something didn't get done. And she's just over there like,
She chilling.
what we going to eat? Like,
Because
chilling.
at the end of the day, it's
to
gonna
have
get
that
done.
energy on your
Yeah.
team, though. That's
It's
a
a
blessing.
good balance.
Yeah.
It really is.
Now, you did have one question on your list that I do want to.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Go for
please
it.
go for
Go
it.
And
for it.
the question was, you said, what would I do differently to prepare for
Mhm.
For
retirement?
retirement.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And this is probably more of your alley. I think I would have prepared more financially.
Okay.
When you have 4 children and you're young and you're on a fixed income, then you start to drop things and say, okay, this is not a priority. Getting
Mhm.
food and rent and
That's so
lights
true.
and all that.
Mhm.
So the first thing you get rid of is your 401s. You start putting you lower your how
You
much
start
you're gonna
giving
pay.
yourself up.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
if I had it all to do over again, I would stick to, this is how much I'm putting in this 401 and nothing, and not let anybody. I would pay me first. And I think that is the one thing I didn't do. I wanted to make sure everything else was taken care of. I
Right.
wanted to make sure your husband's taken care of, your children are taken care of. They go to dance class, they go to football class. And so you put those things on the back burner. But those are very important for the retiring mother.
For the
That
generation.
is so. Let me tell you
Or
how
woman,
timely
retired
that is.
woman.
My sister and I were just having this conversation yesterday because we're entering a new stage of motherhood.
Right.
My sister's children have all graduated from college or are in that stage of life. myself, and my husband, 2 of our kids are in college and our son is in high school. So now we're starting to think about the next stage of life. And we talked about, we've given so much to these kids to make sure that, you know, they start off and that they have those things, but we have to worry about ourselves now. So it's transitioning into, and not that we didn't start planning for retirement, but really, really not sacrificing ourselves to make sure that they're okay.
Yeah, and
we just had that conversation last night.
If I had anything to do over again, that would be.
And that's a super boss advice.
Yes, that's a super boss advice.
Most of our audience members have businesses, right? So to start thinking about, well, how do I make sure that I start thinking about that now? Because we're going to go through that transition.
And I feel like you don't know what's going to happen in your life. You know, God forbid I got divorced, but God forbid he had died or whatever. I just feel like for a woman, and it's nothing against being submissive or trusting your husband, but preparing yourself, because you never know what can happen.
I'm going to tell you, so we're almost at time. I'm going to tell you, it's funny because at the time, I'll never forget this. It's always stayed in the back of my mind. It honestly is one of the reasons that I gravitate towards being a boss and having an entrepreneurial mindset. But I remember when my mom and dad got divorced, at the same time, I had another woman in the community that I was close to whose husband had died. And then I had another woman that I knew of whose husband had went to jail. And I said, man, all of them were in the same boat. Right. It was like that saying where you said same sugar, honey, iced tea, just different toilets. Right. It was like they all was in the same boat. She now had to learn how to take care of herself and this business and this household that her husband always did. And now he's passed. And I'm like, what do I do? Right. And I don't even know who to trust, if they're screwing me over or not. Right. And then there's this one was like, my husband's going to jail and I have to figure out how to pay my bills, and I have to figure out how to do taxes, things that I never done. And then here it is, this woman who got divorced, and she's like, my husband is leaving me, and now I have to figure out how to take care of this household and figure it out by myself. They were all in the same predicament, not because either one made a bad choice or a good choice, just because life happens. Life happens to everyone. Right. And so I think that was a great
just prepare
topic or answer to give that we left out. I really do,
because even if none of those things, the scenarios that you had ever happened, you could have a nice little nest egg, and when y'all children get grown and stuff, you could say, here, honey, let's buy a retirement.
You don't have to volunteer for our business. You can give us money.
Let's retirement home. You know, I was even thinking about it today.
Travel. You're able to be there for your kids.
To be able to make $1,000 donation to give Miami. You know,
and that starts now.
It does.
Right. Even if it's a little bit.
Right. Even if it's a little bit, just keep doing it. Be consistent. You know, if you. Maybe this year you say, I'm going to do $25 a pay period. And then next year I move it up to $50. But be consistent. Be consistent.
That is the best way to end the show.
Yeah,
it is.
That's our guard your genius.
Yeah, that really is.
That's our guard your genius.
Now, is it okay, Andres, if we ask one more question? Okay, so there was another one I wanted to ask for the retirees. How do you find your new passion? Because automatically your passion becomes helping your kids, grandkids, traveling. But what are some of the things you had on the list that you wanted to do that you never did as a boss lady for yourself? How do you find those new passions, those new business ventures, those new hobbies? Like,
traveling is my new. I want to travel. And unfortunately, pandemic has put because my intention was right now, I would have already been to Europe and did my cruise in Europe. That was what I wanted to do for my retirement, and that was put on hold. And looks like it's not going to get done to 2023. So now I got to make sure I keep my health up so I can do all that walking around Europe.
But are there any hobbies or passions or ventures that you can monetize? How do you find those things? Have you thought of those things? Ways you can monetize? I kind of
got some ideas, but I love to go out to eat. So I would love to maybe critique
Oh,
Restaurants.
that would be great.
All right, senior blog, food
Yeah.
critic.
Yes.
But
And
then
you can make
I had to
money
learn how
off
to
of
do a blog. Now I got to go back to technology.
Oh, you
Yeah.
have an
Yeah.
Instagram and post
Yeah.
and say,
Social
I don't
media.
have an Instagram
oh, we
account.
gonna take care of that.
So you know what? I have an advice for all retirees based on what you just said. You're always like, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do this. How do you know how to do this? Natalie and I know how to do stuff because we Google. Google
Yeah.
is your best
Or
friend.
YouTube a video.
Yes, YouTube, TikTok, Google. Just ask. Just
Yeah.
start.
Ask your
The same way
grandkids.
you would go on the ask your grandkids.
Ask-
The same way you would
ask
go in the
your grandkids.
library
Didi,
and
actually,
research it
Didi
in a
could probably
book.
do it. He can help you
Exactly. The same way you would go in the library and research it in a book. You can go on the internet.
On your phone.
You can go on your phone. You can sit down with your grandkids, take them out to eat. You know, kids love to eat. Jeremiah, her son's always like, he'll help us. He'll volunteer as
will
long
work
as it
for
comes
food.
to food.
For food.
He will work for
He'll work
He's
for
a high
food.
schooler.
A high
He is.
schooler.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
is.
and he plays sports.
He does. He does.
Yeah.
play
So
sports.
take
Yes.
that grandchild out to eat, give them a good meal, and then say, can you show grandma how to start a blog? And let's critique this meal that we just ate. You want to go out to
Take the
eat.
pictures
If
and
you
stuff.
look right,
Yes.
you tell one of your grandkids, I'll take you with me to every restaurant that I critique. If you
post
if
and,
you
and
post
type
it,
up
show
my
me how to
caption.
do it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Naila probably love that.
Right, be resourceful, build
We
partnerships.
just did
The
a whole
same
thing.
way.
Yeah.
Right.
Last
Yeah.
30 seconds of
You
the
get
show.
See?
Use that same mentality you had in the workforce. Use it for your own
Yeah.
passions and twist it. Build partnerships with your kids.
And your grandchildren.
Learn,
Yes.
train yourself, retrain yourself, and hey, just step out there. Just try
That is true.
it.
Just step out there.
Just step out
Try
there and
it.
try. Oh
Try
man.
it.
Try it.
Yeah.
I mean, because all you can do is
If you don't
Succeed or
try it,
fail.
exactly.
try
And
something
if
else.
you
And
fail,
try
you're
something else.
retired. You can
Doesn't
just try
matter.
something else.
It's not like I have to have it for an
Exactly.
income, you know?
Exactly.
Right.
You'll still be
Yeah.
fine.
Oh, this is really great.
This was fantastic. Thank you so much for
Enjoyed
joining
it.
us.
Enjoyed it. I
So,
was
Miss
really
Sharon,
nervous.
Where can we find you on social media? On your Facebook?
After all that. What's your Facebook name? Because you
What's your
just told
name
us
on
you have Facebook.
You did.
And we want to befriend you.
What's
on
your
there.
Facebook name?
Sharon Coleman?
Yeah, that is your
Okay.
Facebook name.
All right.
That is
That's my Facebook
That is
name.
who you
Sharon
are.
Coleman.
Practice these questions with the young people in your life and your friends.
Yes.
Neidy, where can we
I
find you?
am on IG at Guard Your Genius.
Perfect.
Yes.
And then Andres, before I tell where they can find us, can we see if there were any questions, comments? Because I saw a lot today. It's funny because the people that don't like social media tend to get a lot of attention. We haven't had these many comments
yeah,
and
there's a
questions.
lot.
Oh, really?
And you have all these comments. So
They're right on the side.
we can't read
I
it that
can't see
small.
that.
How can we get it up, Andres,
I
and see
can't see nothing.
some of the
Just a
stuff that was
couple.
said?
Or Andres, you can read them out. Just a couple of them.
Hi, Shonda. She said, hey, ladies, balance.
Balance.
Yes. We talked about balance today.
Yes.
Some of the stuff.
Feed Jeremiah.
Feed Jeremiah. Oh, that's one. Great advice.
Oh, that's from Chanel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great
Oh,
show.
thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you for
Shania.
tuning in.
Ah,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Look, maybe we'll bring
We
back.
have to, because that's a lot of engagement.
Bring you back again so you can help us with our
With some
engagement
more
Y'all don't
and
know how
talk
nervous
to some of
this
the
has
women.
been.
Really?
It was
Yeah.
hard.
I couldn't
And you know
tell.
I love to talk, but
I couldn't tell.
You did
yeah,
excellent.
I do love to talk. But
You
this
did
is
excellent.
nervous.
And you gave us some good
Nuggets.
nuggets.
Right.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's all I wanted to be able
Yes,
to do.
thank you.
Well, you can find us at Enterprise Empress on Facebook and Instagram. And if you wasn't able to see the whole show, you can replay it here on Miami Community Newspaper's Facebook page, or you can catch it on our YouTube page, Enterprise Empress. We're looking into expanding Empress News and having some other hosts and shows. So maybe
Yes.
we'll have a senior boss lady show with Miss Sharon.
Yes.
Wow, that'd
That
be
can
nice.
talk to
That would be
other women who
cool.
are navigating
Yeah.
around this whole workforce of technology,
Transition.
social media, and remote working. Yeah. So
And just transition after retirement, what that looks like. Life after retirement.
life after
after
retirement, right?
Yeah.
You know, this show is about queens. So we want you to wear your crown. Even if your crown is only 24 years old, or if your crown is 68 years old, we still want to be able to help you fix your crown and wear it well.
Adjust your crowns, ladies. Ladies, adjust your crowns, whatever that look like for you, and wear your crown well until we see you all again next time. Take
Bye,
care.
guys.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for doing the show.